What a great day it was Thursday to kick off the college football season. Of course, it was great for everybody unless you happen to be Steve Spurrier. But otherwise, here at the site, Handicappers had a phenomenal opening day of the season, as did you. And especially if you happen to play and cash in with all the various discount plays I made available for you on Thursday. Hi guys, Al DeMarco here. This, of course, is going to be your Friday video report. Listen, I've got another free play as I'm breaking down the Rocky Mountain Showdown between Colorado and Colorado State coming up in just a moment. Of course, on Thursday night, not only did I hit my 10-dime best bet with UL Monroe, the 17 unanswered points in the second half as they rallied from a 10-0 intermission deficit to get the win and cover at home against Wake Forest, but also here on the video report gave you a free winner on Texas A&M and South Carolina, easily skying over the posted price. And I got to tell you guys, as I'm doing this video report, the Temple-Vanderbilt game is at halftime, and of course I had Temple plus the 13.5 points as a free play, and the jury's still out on Washington State, laying the 8.5 at home against Rutgers. But another free play coming your way in just a moment. But let's talk about some of the handicappers here on Thursday. First of all, Scott Delaney, my good friend Scott Delaney. Is the sarcasm dripping here? God, I hate when I drool like that. Anyway, Scott Delaney, I did not put the jinx on him. Did not put the jinx on him because after I released my play, after I did the video report yesterday, I happened to go in and I was kind of curious. Well, what the hell was his 100-dime opening college game of the year winner, number 9 out of 12? And he was on UL Monroe as well. So he is now on a 65-36 run, 65-36 run with 100-dime major wager releases over the past 4 years in all sports combined. And more importantly, over the past 17 days, $10 bettors have now won $5,300. And remember, yesterday, you got that play as the half-price play of the day. Also, props going out to Chris Jordan. Hit his 400-star opening night college total of the year. You got it as the $7.77 triple play special with the Boise State Ole Miss game staying under the posted price. How about Brad Wilton, 75-dime non-conference mortal lock, and it was a mortal lock. Ole Miss burying Boise State, 35-13 is a 10.5-point chalk. $10 bettors now up over $16,600 since last July. Nice little tidy 14-month run for Brad Wilton here at the site. Anthony Red, a 2-0 sweep last night. Hit his 50-dime winner, number 4 out of 5 on Ole Miss, 30-dime bonus play on Tulsa. Craig Davis, 50-dime SEC opening game of the year, Texas A&M. Yeah, it's not often you see a 10-point road dog in the SEC win outright by 24 points, but that's what the Aggies did last night. Steve Spurrier has to be sitting there going, God, I should have just... Why did I come out of retirement all those years ago? I could have just left the swamp. Why did I come to South Carolina? It's not going to get any better, Steve. Really. I mean, my God, what an embarrassing performance last night by the Gamecocks. So it was just a phenomenal day, as I said, for the various handicappers here at the site. Jeff Benton, who has been the hottest handicapper here at the site over the past couple of months, it looks like he's on the road to a victory as he's got the over, which you got for $14, a savings of $85 on the Washington State Rutgers game. And let me just check the score here as I do this video report. Yeah, you know, when you got a minute 45 left to go in the third quarter and the two teams have combined to score 55 points and you're looking at a total of 62, you got to feel relatively confident that unless lightning strikes, that you've got a damn good chance to score that winning total. So listen, guys, as usual, you know, every single day there's various discounts here at the site. They will always be posted here at the site by 2 p.m. Eastern Time on weekdays, by 10 a.m. Eastern Time on weekends. So make sure you check it out. I'm going to get to my free pick for you in just a moment. But remember, this video report, guys, is more than just about football, basketball, and betting. No, this is also an educational pursuit as well. Because remember, guys, I do not want you to embarrass yourself the next time you're on Jeopardy. I don't want Alex Trebek to make a fool out of you in front of the nation. So here is your answer. The question is, 47 years ago today, this famous TV show concluded with the phrase, Tuesday, August 29th, the day the running stopped. And the answer for all you Jeopardy fans is, what is The Fugitive? Then, at the time, back in 1967, setting the record for the most watched TV show in the history of TV. Now, of course, that was subsequently passed by the final episode, or the Who Shot JR episode in Dallas, and many other episodes, Cheers finale, Friends finale, Seinfeld finale, etc. But at that time, I mean, it was monstrous. Now, listen, I didn't watch the show back then. You know, what can I tell you? I mean, I remember as a little kid, my best friend, Billy Livelsberger, my best friend at the time. You know, 5 o'clock, we used to watch Ultraman on this UHF channel 17 in Philadelphia. Ultraman was on at 5 o'clock. There was another show. I think it was Aquaman, the Cartoon Adventures of Aquaman at 5:30. And then at 6 o'clock, they played this damn Fugitive show. And it was like, who wants to watch this crap? You know, this was the days before the internet and cable TV. So outside, we went and played again, you know. But years later, I'm living in the early 90s in Atlanta, and there was a station, I think it was Channel 11 at the time, and late at night, like 1:30 in the morning, which was prime time for me, they used to show series, old-fashioned, old, 50s, 60s, 70s series from start to finish. And I got hooked on watching The Fugitive. So anyway, that is the episode. Today is the day the one-armed man was caught. David Jansen, of course, walking away a free man. But let me just tell you something now, in case you get into a debate at the bar tonight about this, saying, hey, Al DeMarco said this was it. The day the running stopped was 47 years ago. But I checked that on YouTube, and the guy says, and the guy saying that at the end of that episode, the epilogue for The Fugitive is William Conrad. Remember Jake and the Fat Man, Cannon, with that deep, deep voice. William Cannon, you will find YouTube episodes that say, actually, Tuesday, September 5th. The day the running stopped. So just to clarify, so you win the bar bets too, guys, let me just tell you, those episodes were shown in Canada. Today in the United States, this is when the day the running stopped, August 29th. The ones you see on YouTube, the ones you see on the feature-length DVD releases for the TV show, they have both versions, but September 5th was the day the running stopped in Canada, which is damn confusing. But there, you cannot say that watching these videos are anything less than an educational pursuit. Can you write that off? I'm not too sure about that. Okay, let's move on. It is amazing. What time is it? It's 9:47 at night. Hey, I'm going to roll here, guys. I got to drive like 800 miles tomorrow. Okay, let's talk about Colorado and Colorado State. The game, of course, is being played in Denver. This game doesn't have the appeal that it once does. It's still a series that is dominated by the Buffaloes. They did win last year's game. 41-27 is a 2.5-point dog. It was a very close game, 26-24, before a huge fumble return. I think it was a return like 53 yards in the fourth quarter, broke it open. Colorado has won 3 of the last 4 straight up and against the spread. Last year, the Buffs, who this year, by the way, are still the youngest team in the Pac-12, they were a perfect 3-0 straight up and against the spread outside of Pac-12 play. Now, listen, Colorado State certainly rallied from that loss early last season to the Buffaloes, and in the Mountain West Conference actually made a bowl game, so they played very well. But here's the thing. Colorado State's defense is suspect as best. I mean, last year, the quarterback for Colorado threw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. Well, their defense hasn't gotten any better. Their secondary hasn't gotten any better. Meanwhile, Colorado is starting to make progress, as I thought they would when they hired Mike McIntyre from San Jose State. This is a good young coach. I think he's got this program going in the right direction. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game because both of these teams have very strong ground games. But I like Colorado in this contest. Now, the line is sitting at 3. So what are you going to do? You know what I'm going to tell you to do, guys. When the line crosses 3, 4, 7, sometimes even 10, you got to go ahead and buy the half point, either up or down. It just makes no sense not to. I mean, it's a small price to pay. And I always go back to what I say about baseball betting. Listen, would you have any qualms if I told you to go ahead and lay 120 to 135 with a favorite in baseball? Absolutely not. So then what is the problem with going ahead and buying the half point down off of 3 or 4 if that escalates your price from a minus $1.10 to minus $1.20 to minus $1.35? Buying the half point, and this is the most controversial thing that you will find among the handicappers here at the site, in fact. Trace Adams, he'll battle me till he turns blue, arguing this point. Anthony Red will do the same thing, and yet he'll sometimes buy that half point too. But still, I personally believe in all my years doing this as a gambler, as a handicapper, that the single most important thing that has affected games for me, turning more losses into pushes and turning more pushes into wins, is hedging the odds in my favor by playing that half point. Because over the long haul, I think it obviously benefits you. Now, listen, if you're playing 17 games today, It's foolish to do it. But when you've got that one big game, that game that you are keying on, why not do it? Again, that's just my financial strategy and regarding this. Let's also talk about the BYU UConn game. I don't really have much of an opinion on this game. I know BYU was 0-3 straight up and against the spread outside of conference play on the road last year, and they're a big favorite tonight, 16.5-point chalk at UConn against a Huskies team that's covered 19 of its last 23 as a home dog, dating back a number of years. Huskies, of course, finally found themselves a quarterback late last season. They turned to a sophomore or a freshman at the time, Casey Cochran, who completed 63% of his passes for 11 touchdowns and 4 interceptions and went 3-1 as a starter. He's entrenched as starting quarterback. Hill back as the quarterback for BYU. Now, BYU has major offensive talent that's going to be sitting on the sidelines tonight. Their top running back, Jamal Williams, who averaged almost 6 yards a carry and ran for over 1,200 yards last year, is suspended for the contest. One of their starting wide receivers, Devin Blackman, is suspended for the contest. Another starting wide receiver, Nick Kurtz, is out with a foot injury. And you've got a UConn team whose new head coach used to be the Notre Dame defensive coordinator the past 4 years. Well, the last 2 years when Notre Dame played BYU, the Irish held them to an average of 14 points a game, okay? So I think that makes grabbing the points so tempting here with UConn. But again, I just can't get that enthused because what I just told you about the success that the new UConn coach had when facing BYU as Notre Dame's defensive coordinator. Well, let me ask you this, guys. Is there a difference in talent between what you're finding in Stores and football and South Bend? You better believe it, okay? So even though BYU is 3-9 straight up and against the spread in its last dozen road openers, losing its last 4 both straight up and against the spread, I don't know. I really don't know. So I'd handicapped the game. I've researched the game. I'm telling you now, every game is a 50-50 proposition, but I don't know which way to tell you in that one. The free pick, again, is Colorado, but I did the work. I figured I'd give you my thoughts and my input on that particular contest as well. Hey, that'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you. And again, remember, check out the homepage of the site to get all your discount previews, etc. And if you're on Jeopardy, I think that you owe me at least 10% of your winnings if that happens to come up with one of the questions in TV history. So that's the least you can do. Take it easy, guys. Talk to you again on Saturday morning.